Hello everyone, this is Caleb Simpson, and you're watching my 100% walkthrough for The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword for Nintendo Wii. We've just completed the Sand Ship, and now it's time to return to the Isle of Songs inside Thunderhead to get the next song. That's actually the only thing that's required in this particular video, so you can just do that, and then if you want to continue with the main storyline, you can just skip ahead to the next video. Otherwise, you can hang out with me, where I'm going to show you how to get a bunch of different goddess cubes, a bunch of goddess chests, as well as several upgrades that we can get in the bazaar. So like I was saying, first of all, just head over to the Isle of Songs and enter just like you normally would to get the next song for the next Silent Realm. So one quick note before you progress too far and it's like out of your mind is it is possible to go back to the Sand Ship. So if you speak with Scrapper at any of the docks in the Linear Sand Sea, then you can ask him to take you to the Sand Ship, or you can actually get in your boat and go directly to the Sand Ship, which you can see on your map. So after that battle with the boss, the robots actually pitched in and like all got together and fixed up the boat. So it's all back together again, just like it was, even though it was like practically destroyed, which is kind of weird, but whatever. Anyways, you can return to the Sand Ship whenever you want, so just don't think that that's not an option. The reason I pointed out is in case some of you forgot to get the heart container, or neglected to get it on purpose, or whatever, you can still get that, and that's how you do that. And you can also get a piece of heart. Now both of those things, both the heart container and the piece of heart, can be acquired by getting up onto the mast. You climb up there and then you can use the little like pulley system things to go both to the west and east sides of the dungeon. And from there you can hop down onto these upper platforms, and that is how you get to both the piece of heart and the heart container. So if you want to get those, that is how you do it at this point, if you did not get them while you were in the dungeon itself. So I mentioned for a few videos now that there was some optional goddess cubes you could get in Faron, but I was stalling to get them, and the reason for that is because next to where the goddess chests are that are related to those cubes, there are some other prizes that we can get at the same time. However, we did not have the required items and stuff until now, or rather, we're doing some other quests in those same areas, so I'm going to get them all at once right now. So, because we're getting the other things and going back to those same locations, in particular Beetle's Island, we'll be going there later in this video, because we're going there, I wanted to wait until now to get the related chests for those. And because I'm getting the chests in this video, I figured I'd get the related cubes for those chests at the same time. So, that being said, I'm finally heading to Faron to get those goddess cubes so that we can get all the chests and the other prizes that are nearby and do them all at the same time. I like to put related stuff in the same video rather than having us get the cubes like several videos ago and then referencing them. I just feel like that's more confusing. So, it doesn't make it any more efficient to like get those stuff early or anything, and the related prizes weren't really all that exciting that you could have gotten just for those cubes at the time. So the first cube in Faron is on top of the Skyview Temple. So you just use the vines that are off to the right side using the claw shots. This allows you to reach an upper area. And this particular cube leads to a rupee medal that is on top of Beetle's Island. And I think, actually, looking at this recording, I think there's actually an amber relic that's in some of the nearby tree branches that I did not grab. But you could have grabbed that with the beetle, actually, as long as we're here. This next goddess cube is just outside the Lake Floria waterfall, so warp to that bird statue or make a run all the way over here, and just above the bird statue itself there is some vines, so go ahead and claw shot to them, and this leads to a platform containing the next goddess cube. Now this particular one leads to 300 rupees that is just below Fun Fun Island, so it's pretty easy to reach actually in the sky, but 300 rupees is nice, especially at this point in the game. There's a lot of expensive things we can buy here towards the end of the game. And speaking of gold rupees, there is actually a gold rupee that is on top of a nearby platform. Now, you could have actually gotten this earlier. I didn't because there wasn't any, particular thing I was going to buy. I kind of wanted to have these two things in the same video. But anyways, you could have technically gotten this earlier on in the walkthrough, actually. Like, as soon as you arrived at Lake Floria, you could have used the beetle to collect that particular rupee. Just make sure, as always, that you have enough rupee space in your wallet. Otherwise, you will end up wasting potential rupees. And as you can see, I have a ton of space in my wallet, so I'm, doing great as far as that goes. So with all that stuff in hand, it's time to head back to the sky, and we're going to finally collect all of these cubes, as well as the other cubes I've got in the Linear Sea. This first goddess chest I'm getting was acquired by getting the goddess cube that was just outside of, when you're halfway up Skipper's Retreat, there was a platform off to the far left that you could reach using the vines and the claw shots. So that's where this one came from. So to get to it, all you have to do is claw shot to the vines that are right above the chest to get across these metal gratings, these bars. So hop down and open the chest to get the potion medal. Now what the potion medal does is it increases the amount of time that your potion buffs last. So the potions that you buy from Love's Potion Shop, you can increase their duration while wearing this. Now this is actually a very powerful item, and if you're going to be using potions, I do recommend you use this because even if, say you have 3 or 4 potions on you, it will increase their duration by twice. It's almost like having twice as many bottles is kind of what ends up happening, but just for buffs, not for healing. But some of the buffs that you can get towards the end are very powerful, so if you get the potions, and also another thing to note is you upgrade them with Birdie off to the side, and it will increase the duration by that much more. So if you have something that lasts 2 minutes, and you make it so it lasts 3.5 minutes, and then you use the potion medal, it lasts significantly longer. So it's just way better. But yeah, I'd say that the potion medal is probably one of the most valuable items you can get in the game, actually. So next, we're getting this chest that is just below Fun Fun Island. This particular one leads to 300 rupees, and it was acquired just outside Ancient Cistern, which is actually the last goddess cube that we just got even just a few minutes ago. As always, make sure you have enough room in your wallet. Now, I have been completing Batchro's Gratitude Crystal side quests, which leads to a whole bunch of wallet upgrades in particular, so that's the reason I can hold so much. But if you have more limited wallet capacity, especially if you only have 1,200 or something, you want to be very careful about which chest you're opening in case you're running out of space. This next one I'm more showing in passing just to show. The deal is that it's on top of Beetle's Island, but it's inside this little upper area, and you can't reach this unless you come here at night, and I'll explain how to do that later in this video. But you can't actually drift in there, I don't think. I think it's pretty much impossible. Part of the reason for that is the roof of that little raised island portion, that little plateau, is sticks out a little bit, so it kind of makes a top or whatever. It makes it hard to... You'll bonk into that before you ever get to that entrance. So it is very difficult. I don't think that it's possible to drift in there. You might be able to do it, but it would take a lot of tries. I definitely don't think it's worth it. So, that being said, I will show how to get that particular goddess chest later in this video. So there's 2 goddess chests that we can get here in Skyloft, actually. One of them is on top of the floating islands to the far east of the village. Now, I actually went up here a couple videos ago, and I mistakenly said that I thought we were getting all the things at the same time, and I was mistaken about that. This is actually the point in the walkthrough where we can actually get the last item. So there's a bunch of different things that are up here that I should mention. You can get up here using the claw shots, by the way. And so now that we have that, we can reach this island. There is an individual gratitude crystal that is up here at night. You can either climb up here, or you can just fly your beetle into it, especially the tough beetle, I think, can fly far enough to reach it. There is a goddess chest that is off to the left. You hop off that ledge and glide down to it, and then there's also this final goddess chest up here. Now this particular one leads to a piece of heart, and the related goddess cube for this was the one at the end of the pirate's stronghold. So after you've gone through the pirate's stronghold, then that, whatever it's called, the kind of the shark head thing opens up, and there is a target that is revealed there that you can then reach up to, and it leads to an upper platform that has a goddess cube. So that's how you reach this one. And there at the tail end, you saw that I dived off and landed on top of a nest on top of Kukiel's house, and that is how you reach the rattle, which is a side quest item that is required to complete Birdie's Gratitude Crystal side quest. So, I actually did that in an earlier video, but I'm just pointing it out in case you're watching this right now and you haven't done those things. That's how you do that, just so you know. So heading into the bazaar, there's actually a chest just to the left of Gondo back in his little workshop area. And ironically enough, Fi actually has a description about goddess chests as soon as you get close to it. Now, I assume this is so that if you are exploring around Skyloft at the very beginning and you see this chest in the distance and you go, ooh, and you run over to it, then she'll have an explanation on this, and then just to inform you that it's locked until you can collect various goddess cubes on the surface. Now, the irony of this, though, is that most people are not going to... the related cube for this is only unlocked significantly later in the game, and yet Fi still gives us that basic description explaining about goddess chests, even though we've already opened tons of goddess chests at this point in the game. So if you came here earlier in the game and you looked at that, it would have made total sense. Now it's kind of odd because it's totally out of place, because at this point we already know, we're well into an understanding how goddess cubes work. Anyways, the latest cube for this was right as soon as you entered the Linear Sand Sea. There's a little area off to the right. There's a bunch of blocks that are stacked up. You can stand on top of some of them to reach a target that you can see by turning around. From there, there's a bunch of Araka that are defending a cube, and this particular cube leads to 300 rupees. As always, you do want to make sure that you have enough wallet space to contain that, and once you're done with that, go ahead and speak with Gondo. He has a couple different upgrades available to us, but in particular, we're interested in upgrading our bow all the way. Now, mainly this will require a little bit of Elden Ore, a whole bunch of tumbleweeds, and one goddess plume are kind of the highlights there as far as things that are required, as well as some evil crystals. If you're kind of going out of your way opening chests and stuff, you should have plenty of evil crystals. If you don't have enough, you can farm for them by going back to the Ancient Cistern and going to the basement and fighting some cursed bokoblin, and you can get some evil crystals that way. Bombs are the easiest way to do that if you don't have enough of those treasures. Otherwise, if you wait till the end of the game, you can actually go ahead and purchase evil crystals as well as another potential option. It's a little bit more awkward to do it that way, though. Anyways, upgrading the bow, the main thing this will do for us is it increases the damage that it does. That's the main reason we're interested in it, because we can hurt, especially things like, say, moblins. You can smack moblins in the head with the bow, and just a couple shots will actually defeat them with the fully upgraded bow. So that's awesome. The other thing that it does, though, is I believe, if my memory serves me correctly, that it increases the speed with which it charges with the A button. Now, that is nice if you are using the A button, but otherwise, shooting with the C button on your nunchuck controller is by far superior using the bow, just generally speaking. It charges instantly, so you don't have to wait for the charge. So, again, the main reason we're upgrading the bow, though, is for the increased damage, so we can kill, like, blue bokoblin archers a little bit faster, as well as, like, moblins and other enemies. We can even kill, I think you can even shoot Lizalfos even. Not 100% sure about that one, but anyways, it's a good thing. You could upgrade the bug net as well, but I would recommend you hold off on that for just a second because that is the lowest priority. So the next thing we're going to do is I need to go purchase some stamina potion for an upcoming side quest that I'm going to be doing in the next video. So we want to empty 2 bottles and then grab some stamina potions. Alright, that'll make sense here in just a little bit. Next, we want to head over to Rupin's shop, and he has a new item that is available now that we have the bow, and this is the small quiver. Now, the small quiver will increase the number of arrows that we can carry, and as always, with all of these capacity items, you can actually buy multiple of them if you want, and there is also some of these quivers you can get from goddess cubes. That's actually towards the end of the game, though. Like, some of the very last goddess cubes that you get will unlock these, so we won't be able to get those for a while now. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and purchase a quiver. Now, unfortunately, though, I remembered as I was talking with him that I have to go put stuff in the item check in order to make room in my pouch, otherwise he will not sell it to me. So I had to go back to the item check to dump some things off so that I could get that. Now you'll notice that my dialogue with Petrice is a little bit different than it has been throughout the game. That is because I turned down her offer to be her boyfriend, and this is actually part of a side quest that I completed in an earlier video. Now, at this point, you might, depending on how often you've spoken with her anyways, this might be when you were having these conversations with her, and you might be completing the side quest now. But anyways, just commenting that I completed that in an earlier video, and I have that labeled and stuff too, so you can see where that is. So, shuffling items around, I went ahead and dropped off the seed satchel because I'm not planning on using the slingshot very much anymore. Although it is still powerful here in this next section, and honestly, I feel like the scatter shot makes it a lot better because you can defeat multiple enemies with fewer shots, so it doesn't take as much effort to do that. So if you have the scatter shot in particular, I don't feel like the extra bullets are super necessary. But anyways, the other thing that I did is I went ahead and put on the potion medal. Now, I'm not actually going to be using it for the next little bit, but it doesn't really matter too much. I'm not worried about it or anything. But as a comment, too, you can have multiple of these other capacity items. So if I wanted to drop off my bomb bag, for example, I could wear multiple quivers and upgrade them if I wanted to, so I can have a crazy number of arrows. Seems like players in general tend to have one of these particular items that they like a lot. They like the bow or bombs or the seed satchel, or whatever, the slingshot, and they have a preference on which one they like. And honestly, all three of those items are super useful in various situations. So if you really, really like one, you could go ahead and fill up your capacity like crazy and then carry something like 60 arrows and it'd be amazing. So I'm going to head over to Gondo and I'm going to go ahead and upgrade my quiver a couple different times. It's not really that hard. I guess one comment about it is it does take several dusk relics. Which is fine. I've been collecting a lot of dusk relics as we've been progressed, and I think I've used most of the dusk relics that are required for all of the upgrades in the entire game at this point. And I feel like the most useful upgrade at this point is the quiver. However, you can also get the bug net, and I actually do have enough resources to do so here in just a moment. So I'm going to go ahead and finish upgrading the quiver, and then I'm going to upgrade the bug net just because I can. But yeah, I will say that the bow is definitely the most valuable item for this next upcoming dungeon, as opposed to bombs or the slingshot. So I do recommend that you get the quiver if you have the rupees for it. Like, it doesn't hurt anything to purchase it. It's only 150 rupees, so you should have way more than that at this point in the walkthrough, especially if you've been collecting the goddess cubes with me, because I think I even got like 900 rupees just in this video alone, so we got quite a bit of money. So get the big bug net if you like. It's totally optional, but it does increase the size of it, which makes it a lot easier to catch bugs. In particular, actually, the reason I think it's super interesting is because you can collect multiple bugs at once. So if bugs are pretty close to each other, it makes it very easy to get, like, especially when like 3 birds are like sort of close to each other, you can collect all 3 birds with the size of this bug net. So that's actually pretty cool because of that. But yeah, definitely lowest priority compared to everything else. Now, I have gone out of my way a little bit to collect bugs and birds and stuff like that, so I'm actually great on all my treasures, so I don't need any more of that stuff, really. So I'm pretty much good for the rest of the entire game, actually, at this point. But yeah, we're done with everything we needed to do in the bazaar. Join me for the next video, where we'll continue with several side quests that lead to some peace of heart before we continue on with the main adventure. I got one of those value packs of granola bars. I've been trying to eat just the like the honey ones primarily, because supposedly that's the healthiest. But after having them, you know, every day for a little while, I was like, okay, I'm like getting sick of honey flavor. I need some variety here. I like my milk chocolate. Don't make me change. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Look at that. Look at that. The random ore? No, soldier spear. Okay. Oh, hey. Toasted hearty truffle. Garbage. I will eat them. You end up with all the potions you could need. And you can eat it too. I don't know. Yeah, I guess that is a pretty good quote. I guess that does. Well, it's like there's nothing else you can do with them, you know.